He wasn't lazy, he wasn't unintelligent, and he didn't lack motivation. Yet, year after year, nothing in his life seemed to change. He had goals, he had plans, he even had moments where he felt inspired. But every time he looked back, he realized he was standing in the exact same place. Some people around him were moving forward quietly, steadily. Others, just as talented as he was, stayed stuck. Not because they failed once, but because they failed the same way again and again. He used to believe success came from big decisions, from sudden bursts of motivation, from one powerful turning point that would change everything overnight. What he didn't realize was that his life wasn't being shaped by big moments at all. It was being shaped by the small moments he ignored every single day. And it took him a long time to understand that. One day, something shifted. One quiet realization changed the way he saw everything. That was the moment it finally clicked. For most of his life, he told himself the same thing. Tomorrow he would wake up earlier. Tomorrow he would focus. Tomorrow he would finally get serious. And sometimes tomorrow did come. He would start strong, full of intention, full of belief that this time would be different. He would set a plan, feel motivated, imagine the version of himself who had it all figured out. But a few days later, sometimes even a few hours later, that feeling would fade. Life would get busy. He would feel tired, distracted, uncertain, and slowly, without making a conscious decision, he would slip back into old patterns. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious, just one small excuse at a time. He didn't quit outright. He just stopped showing up consistently. Weeks passed, then months, and every time he looked back, he felt the same quiet frustration. He wasn't failing in big, visible ways. He was failing quietly, privately, in moments no one else could see. Watching others move forward while he stayed exactly where he was made him wonder if something was wrong with him. Maybe he just didn't have what it took. Maybe discipline was something you were born with, not something you learned. He carried that thought with him for a long time, not realizing how much it shaped the way he lived. He first noticed him in the early mornings. While the rest of the neighborhood was still quiet, still half asleep, this man was already outside, moving with calm precision. Same time, same pace, same routine. Every single day. He wasn't loud, he didn't talk much. And he never spoke about success or motivation. He simply showed up, again and again, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. One morning, curiosity got the better of him. He asked why. Why wake up so early? Why do the same things every day? Why keep going when no one was watching? The man paused for a moment, then gave a small smile. He didn't offer advice. He didn't give a long explanation. He simply said that most people don't fail because they quit. They fail because they only show up when they feel like it. Then he went back to what he was doing, as if the conversation had already ended. The words lingered far longer than he expected. They weren't dramatic. They weren't inspiring. But they were unsettling, because for the first time, he couldn't argue with them. He walked away that morning with a strange feeling he couldn't shake. A quiet discomfort. The kind that doesn't push you forward immediately, but slowly begins to change the way you see yourself. He didn't change his life that day. There was no big decision, no dramatic promise to become a new person. In fact, nothing about him looked different at all. The only thing that changed was something almost invisible. The next morning, when his alarm went off, he didn't feel motivated, didn't feel ready. He felt exactly the same as always. Tired, doubtful, tempted to roll over and try again tomorrow. But instead of arguing with himself, instead of waiting for the right feeling, he did one small thing. He got up, not early, not perfectly, just earlier than he usually did. That was it. No grand plan, no announcement, no one noticed. And that's how it started. One small action done quietly when no one was watching. The next day, He did it again, and again the day after that. Some mornings felt easier. Most didn't. There were days he questioned whether it was even making a difference. Days when it felt pointless. Days when old habits pulled at him, whispering that missing one day wouldn't matter. And sometimes they were right. He did miss a day. But for the first time, he didn't let one miss turn into a full stop. He simply showed up the next day. Slowly, without realizing it, something began to shift. Not his results, not his circumstances, but his relationship with effort itself. He stopped asking whether he felt like it. He stopped negotiating with his mood. He just showed up, quietly repeating the same small action, trusting something he couldn't yet see. Then came the day that almost broke it. Nothing dramatic happened. There was no crisis, no failure anyone else could see. It was just one of those days where everything felt heavy. He woke up tired. The routine felt pointless. The progress he hoped for still wasn't there. No visible results. No clear sign that any of this was working. For the first time since he started, a thought settled in his mind and refused to leave. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe he was fooling himself. Maybe small efforts were just a comforting story people told themselves when real change wasn't possible. He stood there, staring at the same morning he had faced so many times before, and felt the old urge return. The urge to stop, to take a break, to wait until things felt easier again. It would have been simple. No one was keeping track. No one would know. And in that moment, he realized something uncomfortable. This wasn't about discipline anymore. It was about identity, about whether he was the kind of person who only showed up when results appeared, or the kind of person who showed up even when nothing seemed to be happening. He didn't feel strong. He didn't feel confident. He didn't feel inspired. But instead of walking away, he stayed. He did the small thing anyway, not because he believed it would change everything, but because stopping would quietly return him to the life he already knew. And for the first time, that felt worse than continuing. Nothing changed that day. There was no breakthrough moment anyone could point to, no sudden success, no visible reward. The world looked exactly the same as it had the day before, but something inside him shifted. Quietly, almost imperceptibly. As he went through the motion he had repeated so many times before, he realized he was no longer waiting for motivation to arrive. He wasn't hoping to feel ready. He wasn't even expecting results anymore. He was simply there, doing the small thing because it was who he was becoming, not because it promised anything in return. And that's when it finally clicked. Success wasn't hiding somewhere in the future, waiting for the right moment to appear. It wasn't built from big decisions or dramatic changes. It was being shaped slowly and quietly in moments like this. Moments where no one was watching. Moments where quitting would have been easier. Moments that felt ordinary, forgettable, and small. For the first time, he understood that consistency wasn't about forcing himself forward. It was about removing the need to feel inspired at all. He wasn't changing his life in a single moment. He was changing it by refusing to return to the version of himself who only showed up when it felt good. And standing there, in that unremarkable moment, he knew something had shifted for good. He didn't become successful overnight. His life didn't suddenly transform in a way others could see. But from that point on, something was different. He no longer measured his days by how motivated he felt or how quickly results appeared. He measured them by whether he showed up, quietly, consistently, without needing proof that it would all pay off. Over time, those small moments began to stack, not loudly, not dramatically, but steadily. And one day, long after the decision itself had been forgotten, the results started to appear. By then, they almost felt secondary, because the real change had already happened. The life he wanted wasn't built in moments of inspiration. It was built in the ordinary days he used to overlook. And most people never notice when that kind of change begins. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand attention. It simply grows quietly in the background. Until one day, you look back and realize you're no longer standing where you used to be. And you understand something most people miss. Big lives aren't changed in big moments. They change when no one is watching. When it finally clicks,